Angelo Acerbi, Vladimir Radio from the Venice Festival here with Vladimir Bitokov for the film Mama, I Am Home, Mama Yadoma.
Yes.
It's a very intense story that you're telling us. Where does it come? Is it based on a true story?
No, it's not a true story. No.
Where did you come? How did you come up with this?
When I've read the script from Maria Izumova, the great script writer. I've read it, so I love it. I love the character, the main character, Tonya.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to make this movie. That was the idea.
Easy as that.
Yeah, the easiest way.
Easy. And what was your touch that you put in? Which was your additional touch to the screenplay? How did you work on it to transform into your film?
Well, I've made a lot of things, a lot of changes with Maria, and then without her. First of all, I moved all the story from Rostov-on-Don to North Caucasus, and I added some characters and I erased some characters. So there was some work on it. But for me, the main thing is in the story is the main character Tonya, and the way she fights for her truth. That's
really it's really touching, moving, and annoying terms that you're angry for her.
I am.
Because you watch the film, she tries to get some replies. Nobody can even consider her to be worth of a reply, which is the most annoying thing ever. And there is a critical and a very clear depiction of how the power and the politics are dismissing her. Was it something that you had to stress, or was already like this? And this is something that could actually happen in this way?
Well, sometimes, yes. Everything in this movie is very special. I mean, I saw a lot of things like this, and I saw some, politics problems, which I tried to show somehow, sometimes with a humor or something like that. But for me, as I told you a bit later, for me it's not it's not a political sentence. It's just about this woman. That's all.
Yeah, but unfortunately, politics and power mix.
Yeah, but I think in Russia we live very close to political questions and political topics, so we always live like we need to understand this. We need to see that. Okay.
Listen, how did you work with Ksenija to build up the character? Was she a help for you? So did you work together?
Of course. We talked very much to each other. We discussed. We tried to imagine the biography of Tonya, her long story, her life. What was earlier, what would be later. But we talked very much, a lot. I don't know. Sorry for my English. I didn't speak it.
The film is about this woman that is told that her son died at war, or in a specific. Well, we don't have to explain that much, and she doesn't believe it because they cannot bring her his body. So this is the thing. Is this something that, again, because it was really touching me, and I was very curious to see how much of invention there is in this, and how much of, inspiration from reality there is in this story. So, is this something that actually happened?
Well, a lot of details we took from life, from different stories from all over the country. And we tried to feel our story with all these details that took place in somewhere. So I can say that some things are true stories, but not the whole the whole thing.
There are some pieces of true stories in the middle of a creative story. Well, thank you very much. Thanks a lot to Vladimir Bitokov, the director of Mama, I'm Home, from the Venice International Film Festival. I'm Angelo Acerbi for Fred, the Festival Insider. Angelo Acerbi, Fred Film Radio, Venice Film Festival. I'm here with Oleksandr Rodnjans'kyj, the producer of Mama, I'm Home. We just interviewed Vladimir and the director. And my first obvious question to a producer is what interested you in this film to decide to produce it?
I love the director. I'm always behind the talents, actually. I'm talent-driven producer, and I was lucky to work.
Us,
yeah, it's good I believe, for the audience of cinephiles and cineasts, because actually I had been lucky to work with the amazing directors, with Zvyagintsov, Sakurov, with Billy Bob Thornton, many different ones. But last years, I'm very much trying to support the young filmmakers. And when I saw the short film of Vladimir and his first debut film, the long feature film called Deep River, I was impressed, and I had the feeling he's a guy to be a voice of the new generation in Russia, which is very important. I believe Russia needs new generation to comment on these subjects and political developments inside of the country. So that's why I offered him to work together with, and he was actually happy to join the team. And knowing that he doesn't have, let's say, a habit, and he doesn't like to work with his own scripts, he's open to other people's scripts.
I think he told me that.
Yes, I found the amazing story written by the debut writer, female writer, who just graduated from the Moscow Film School. And I love the script when I read it immediately. That's not very often happening when someone, coming with the good script. Usually we're developing them. So I gave it to Vladimir, and he started to work with the writer. Her name is Masha, and they adjusted adapted the screenplay first for Vladimir's style, and secondly for the region he's coming from.
So you just said that you produce, besides this film, many other films with more established directors. Which is nowadays in this era of cinema, which is the most complicated thing for a producer to overcome? So the biggest obstacle that a producer, besides finding money, probably.
Of course, I do believe the major challenge of producer is to meet the expectations of the audience. But the problem is the fact that the audience doesn't formulate these expectations. When you ask the viewers, what do you really like to watch? They would never give you an answer about the future. They would, in the best case scenario, they would remind something good from the past. So the major idea is to understand the time we're living in, is to try to respond to the challenge of these new times coming, and to try to comment on these, challenges and developments going on. So practically the major challenge of producer is to find the great story for the right director. Yes.
And to see the future.
Yes.
Of potential.
As always, and when you start to work in the film, it means you are about to spend another 2-3 years as minimum with that particular movie, which is definitely the answer to your question. It means you have to tell yourself what's going to be important in 3 years for the audience, yourself, and the director who is working on.
Is it easy? Is it more common to find directors that are then self-sufficient, where you don't have to work with them, or you prefer to have like an overall control over the whole project?
I never call it control. I call it trust.
Yeah.
And I work with the directors who write themselves and who are very good and have a great skills of writing. But at the same time, they are giving you the drafts. You're responding to them. You provide them with the notes. You discuss any single scene. You try to make them sure of what they are doing.
Yeah.
So you are like a good let's say, partner for, like it is in the boxing, you have a champion, and he's always having someone like the ex-champion. It doesn't mean I'm an ex-champion to fight with, and to try to, to do a lot of repetition before to start. That's why I believe for this kind of art cinema, producer is probably the best friend of the director's idea, not necessarily the director himself, but the director's idea. So you should be a friend of the idea. You should help him to do maximum out of it.
Well, this is very nice. What you said is it's a good suggestion for new producers as an approach to their job. Thank you very much, Oleksandr Rodnjans'kyj, the producer.
Not easy. Thank you.
I know. Producer of Mama I'm Home from the Venice Festival. I'm Angelo Acerbi for Fred, the Festival Insider. Angelo Acerbi, Film Radio, dalla Mostra Internazionale di Arte Cinematografica di Venezia con Ksenija Rappoport. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Qui per il film Mama I'm Home, Mama je doma di Vladimir Bitokov.
Sì.
Allora, una domanda proprio classica: come sei stata coinvolta e che cosa ti ha coinvolto di questo progetto?
Ho ricevuto la sceneggiatura e mi sono innamorata subito della storia e del personaggio soprattutto, perché la prima, cioè che l'autore è una ragazza bravissima, la storia è molto intensa e il personaggio, diciamo, quell'arco del personaggio, si dice così? Sì. Succede così raramente ormai nelle sceneggiature, e poi il suo carattere che è molto molto diverso dal mio, e lei proprio, cioè, è una bella sfida di farla credibile.
Perché il personaggio di Tonia è questa donna che combatte contro il sistema, combatte contro la polizia, combatte contro l'esercito, perché lei vuole avere una verità che nessuno le dice.
Sì.
E non si rassegna. Quindi questa cosa che io infatti volevo chiederti, questa forza, è anche molto dura col mondo, è dura con la figlia, lei ha questo obiettivo, no? Lei vuole arrivare a questo finale, a quel risultato. Hai detto che è molto diversa da te, quindi tu non sei così combattente.
Va bene, non vorrei lasciarmi così e dire no, non sono capace. Forse se accadrà una storia di genere, spero che mai.
Speriamo di no.
Sì,
ecco.
Speriamo di no, però forse dentro di me c'è questa forza di combattere fino alla fine. Spero di sì. Però sono molto più debole di lei e, diciamo, io direi che molto più felice e fortunata nella vita, perché Tonia, una persona che non sa come dire a un'altra persona, anche a sua propria figlia, ti amo, ti voglio bene, sei bellissima. Cioè lei può pensare, lei sente questo, però non sa dire mai. Sì. E l'unico modo, perché forse lei non è stata amata da nessuno, è stata cresciuta in un modo quando non ti dicono che ti amano, e quindi non sa neanche come si fa. Però l'unico modo per lei è di di esprimere tutta la forza del suo amore, e di morire, per esempio, per suo figlio, morire per sua figlia, morire per il figlio di figlia. Sì, cioè, lei non sa come, cioè, parlare no, essere emozionata no, però infatti, andare a combattere fino alla morte sì. È così. Quindi
infatti lei è molto fredda, è molto quadrata, come dire, non so come dire, ci sono dei dialoghi con la figlia che sono veramente quasi disturbanti da quanto sono fermi e duri e freddi, no? Però effettivamente poi il film ci fa vedere che invece lei si butta la sua vita per dimostrare, perché la storia è di questa donna che gli viene comunicato che il figlio è morto in guerra, ma il corpo non c'è.
Il corpo non c'è.
E quindi lei dice, quindi non è vero.
Sì, voglio vedere almeno un pezzo
di mio figlio, ecco.
Cioè non è possibile.
C'è una cosa molto interessante nel film a un certo punto, perché a un certo punto si presenta a casa sua questo ragazzo che dice: mamma, sono a casa, da cui il titolo, io sono tuo figlio. E lì lei veramente ha uno sbandamento, no? Come ti sei immaginata, cioè se capitasse a te, come ti sei immaginata, cosa hai immaginato per immedesimarti in questo personaggio in quel momento? Perché anche l'evoluzione, come dicevi tu, l'arco narrativo del personaggio nel film cambia da quel momento lì in poi.
Ho pensato molto di questo momento e anche degli altri, però lì sul set ho avuto la fortuna di avere un attore, un partner così bravo, così intenso, che non dovevo fare degli sforzi, diciamo, oltre la situazione che c'era.
Chiaro.
Quando sono entrata ho visto la sua faccia, mi sono venute i brividi di paura, veramente di paura, perché
lui è bravo, lui è
bravissimo,
bravo, sì.
e quindi tutto quanto è nato lì.
Bene, grazie mille, ti ringrazio molto, grazie al Siena Rappoport per essere stata con noi per il film Mama I'm Home, dalla Mostra Internazionale di Arte Cinematografica di Venezia. Sono Angelo Acerbi, Fred Festival Insider.